So now we're going to look at each one of the squares to understand exactly what you are required to do. So the first task is create a fictional interview video with a protagonist, Gibor HaRoman, antagonist, Hanaval, or the author. You need to write a complete script in Google Docs. This script you will have to also link to your slides presentation. Okay? You will also need to film the interview when you are the one who is playing the author or the main character. You will have to have someone who will help you and ask you the questions. Moving on to task 2. Here you need to create 4 character trading cards. Okay, what are trading cards? It's like Klafei Mischak when you were young and you had, let's say, soccer players on a card. So that's what you need to do here. You need to create character trading cards using the digital tool of your choice. You can use Google Drawing, you can use Google Slides, any other digital choice tool of your choice you can use to create the cards. You will have to include the character's name, an image, okay, and at least 5 characteristics for each character. Now, these characteristics cannot be only appearance characteristics. Okay, so you have to talk about 1 or 2 traits that talk about how the protagonist, for example, looks like, but you will also have to say a few things about the character, okay? What personality traits they have. Moving on to the third task. Here, it's quite simple. You need to write a diary from the point of view of one of the story's main characters that they would have written either before, during, or after the book's events. Okay, so you can, for example, if it's the main character, you can write the diary before the event of the book starts or after they end. Okay, remember that the character's thoughts and feelings are very important in a diary. So you are expected to write about their thoughts and about their feelings. Okay, so the last writing assignment is to create an interactive digital timeline of events from your book. So the book is organized in most of the times in chronological order, okay? And so there is an event that happens first, and then comes another event, and then comes another, etc. You will be requested to take the major events in the book, organize them in a timeline, and write 2-3 sentences about each event and add an image, okay? So what kind of events should you include? So it should be important dates, character introductions, it can be conflicts and resolutions, images to represent each event, right? And you can add links to additional information. If there is a relevant video in YouTube, you can add a link to that as well. A really good tool that you can use is called a timeline maker, and you will find in the classroom assignment a tutorial in Hebrew on how to use this tool. Now we're moving on to the yellow squares. They are all about creative tasks. So the first one, square number 6, if this novel had a soundtrack, what would it be? I would like you to create a YouTube playlist, okay, with at least 5 songs that would make a great soundtrack for your novel. You need to choose the songs, but you also need to explain each of your choices in a Google Doc, okay? And you also need to say where they fit in the story. So it has to be a real soundtrack, not just saying which songs go well with the book, but also where in the book they should be played, okay? Here you need to create 2 links, one to the YouTube playlist and the second to a Google Doc that will explain your song choices and where they fit in the storyline. The next creative task, square number 7. Here, I'm asking you to create a comic strip, okay? רצועת comics, okay? Retelling the story in your own words. You will have to include 6 frames in your story, and you need to be sure to include all of the important characters, exciting events, conflict and resolution. The tool that you should use for this comic strip assignment is Storyboard That, and again I will add a tutorial in Hebrew to the classroom assignment. Pay attention that if you want to use any other digital tool that is available for you on the internet, you are welcome to do so. Moving on to square number 8. Here is a task that you can do in a digital tool, any tool that you would want to use, or this is a task that you can actually physically do on your own using any artistic medium of your choice. Okay, it can be, you can draw, paint, do whatever. Here you are requested to create a new book jacket, okay, for the novel. What is a book jacket? Do you know those hardcover books that have an extra jacket on them? So you have the back cover of the book and the front cover of the book. The front should include an image, okay, some sort of eye-catching cover image. On the back, you need to think of what is usually written on the back of a book. You can write a few words that will make your readers read the book. You can write a few words about the author. Pay attention that you cannot copy-paste information from the internet. You have to use your own words. And what is most important, you need to choose the relevant facts. Think of what will be interesting for a person who walks into the store to read on the back cover of your book jacket. Think of the reader, think of your audience when you write the back cover of your book. Last but not least, square number 9. Here I will ask you to create a short film which will contain at least 5 frames. You need to be sure to include all the important characters, exciting events, conflict, and resolution. The tool that I will ask you to use to create this short film is Adobe Spark. And again, I will add a tutorial in Hebrew to the classroom assignment to show you how to use the tool. And that's it. This is the full explanation on all of the tasks and exactly what you need to do. I will be available to answer any questions that you might have. Please, 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 I am asking you to add your question to the class comments on the assignment in Classroom. The reason is that most of you ask the same questions. So if you ask them in the class comments, everyone can see and benefit from the answer.